of the users in shopping, when Bitcoin and blockchain started to change the world for the banks, all of those industries kind of were changed and disrupted. At least the old big industries called it disruption. These guys in the startup scene called it opportunity. And we realized that digital innovation is not very much about IT. It's a little bit more about strategy, but it's mainly about cultures. Before, where you challenge the whole company's role in the ecosystems and value chains, and you're able to think out of the box and create something new. And that what was started to happen in Sweden in the late 90s. We started to visualize these different entrepreneurs that used to hide in basements or apartments, etc., but we got them into the co-working spaces and the accelerators, and they started to shape a whole new ecosystem with a lot of different pieces that created the foundation, not in funding all of this, but to facilitate, open up, and visualize these different pieces and help them to start. And of course, we have now entered that era where we have a digital layer on top of the physical world with a lot of data. And we now know what people think of these places, where they are, who's there right now, etc. And in case of Foursquare, they can also zoom in to cities. And if we click one more time, we can start to see what the categories are. Yellow workplaces of Manhattan. Around lunch, the recreational area of Central Park starts to appear. And after a while in the afternoon, people are going into the green restaurants, having a nice meal, and then stepping over the street into the blue nightclubs until New York is completely blue. And after a while, even the New Yorkers get a bit tired, have a green snack before even they go to bed. Kind of a beautiful picture, but the level of insights streaming out of the cities are enormous. But also the data starts to come from agriculture, from the forest, and from the space. And we're now seeing a lot of data in the seas. And this is the new oil. This is the new national asset where data can be harvested and turned into value. And all of our governmental organizations sits on so much of this value. But the organizations, governmental organizations also sit on the challenges. So we cannot, as we used to do, only activate the technology. We believe that the governments need to be very firm on freeing the data, being open about the challenges, and then let the entrepreneurs get on with their enthusiasm and passion and skills in order to solve these challenges. Doing that, we will create a whole new arena with GovTech, where new functions and features are being built in order to improve society and thereby also creating the next generations of unicorns made by the society of their own citizens' data and for the society with its different solutions. And one of those GovTech initiatives is that I'm also happy to be part of is Hack for Sweden. So I thought that Caroline would tell you a few words about that.
So we'll just wrap up your presentation and then we can talk about that in the panel.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you for that. I think that you have actually covered a lot of my questions already in that presentation. No worries. And Michael had told us a little bit about how MasterCard is playing in agriculture. But, you know, we're talking about digitizing the real economy, and I thought that we'd hear a little bit from Vivian about how digitization is affecting healthcare. And then we'll talk about Hack for Sweden really quickly, and then we'll be able to take some questions, because we do need to take questions from the audience.
Okay. Thank you guys for the opportunity again to be here today. So my name is Vivian Noaka, founder of MedZaf. And MedZaf is a one-stop shop for healthcare stakeholders to purchase, manage, and track medications through complicated supply chains. So why am I selling medications in Nigeria? 6 years ago, a friend of mine died from taking a fake malaria pill, 35 years old. And it inspired me to look into this sector and to see what are some of the issues. And I can talk about them for a long time, but what I realized is that instead of complaining, there's actually solutions. And that solution is technology, and it's disruption, and using technology to disrupt an old way of doing business. One of the most important things that I realized is that hospitals and pharmacies, were really underserved. They weren't really getting a lot of attention. They weren't getting a lot of access to financing or tools or resources. And instead of just saying, okay, well, let's cut them out of the process, or, let's, try to penalize them, why not create a platform that actually serves them and actually incentivizes good behavior? So one of the things I did then was I said, well, let me go and look at their behavior. And I actually went to hospitals. I went to over 100 hospitals in Lagos, and I just asked them, how can I help you? And one of the biggest realities is that they admitted very openly, and I'm sorry I'm going to say this, but they go to the open drug market to purchase their medications. And so instead of saying, okay, that's bad, why would you do that? I said, well, why are they doing that? And so I went to the open drug market, and I realized, wow, this is great. It's one place where all the medications are in one place. I can pick them up, I can look at them, I can look in the eye of the person who's selling it to me and see, do I feel a level of trust? I can look at all the prices, I can have transparency on prices. And this is actually, if I was a busy hospital owner and I have limited time in my day, instead of calling 30 to 40 to sometimes 70 different wholesale distributors, I can go one place and knock out the majority of my work. That's easy. That's good for me, right, as a business owner. And so I said, well, what's a way that we can actually support these hospitals and pharmacies to do the right thing and to start to talk about quality? And that is very simple, building a platform to actually put these medications online and connect those medications, or connect those hospitals and pharmacies with the suppliers that they need to actually purchase their medications. And it's that simple. And it was companies like Amazon and companies like Alibaba, which was pretty awesome yesterday, that inspired me to say, like, this is possible. So the first thing that we did to enable the healthcare sector is to help bring the informal market into the light using technology. So that was step one. So then we went even deeper and said, okay, well, what are some other additional things that we can do to kind of increase the hospitals and pharmacies' ability to do the right thing? And we started, back in 2017, when we launched, we started running analytics on their historical data, and we started to say, wow, we can make it even better and stickier for them to use MedZaf by analyzing their historical data and understanding what medications that they need at any given moment in time. And that's how we start to implement data and database management into MedZaf as a solution. And then we went even further and we said, well, now they can see all the medications that they want. They can get all the prices, access to prices. They can get these medications within 24 to 48 hours. So because we're running analytics on their purchases, let's build an inventory management system so that they can purchase and manage all of their medications in one place. So the impact of this, we've grown 500% in just 1 year. We have almost 100 hospitals and pharmacies in the Lagos area using MedZaf and growing over 300% year over year on their average orders. They start to talk about quality. This is something that's a bit extra so that I can ensure that I'm dispensing quality medications. These are all feedback that we get from these hospitals that we never heard when we were analyzing them in the first, back in 2016. And on top of that, we were able to build on top of that other services to help these hospitals even more. One, in 2017, we created the first financing product for hospitals to purchase medications. We realized that they weren't getting loans from the bank, but that if we could partner with a fintech company and create a product for them to purchase medications, that they would actually purchase better quality medications, and that worked. And not only did they purchase better quality medications, but they actually purchased more medications. And so another side effect of just kind of putting everything online is that we started to see clinics that had really great practices and devotion to quality medications. We started to see them open more hospitals. And then they started to acquire hospitals. And so I said, wow, if we could actually fuel this business further, we could start to create a network effect where the good hospitals, the good players in the industry get more efficient, get better at what they do, and they can actually start to buy out some of these smaller hospitals and create chains. And that's the beginning of really creating a mature healthcare system that might mirror the West. And so that's one of the big impacts that we've seen of MedZaf to date. So technology really can grow. And on top of that, manufacturers, NGOs, and hopefully in the future governments can now have a platform where they can see transactions, they can see the movement of medications from point A to point B, and this will allow them to make decisions. Imagine if you fall ill with cancer in this country today. How many options do you have? Well, if there's no transparency on the supply chain, a Pfizer can't know what to invest in Nigeria. They just don't know, and so it's not here. And so you have a huge gap between people like us that can fly out and go and get medication somewhere else, and the average person who will never get the chance to get this medication, and they just die. And that's the reality. An NGO like a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that's investing money has no transparency on where their medications are going and what's actually the actual impact of it. So MedZaf is the solution now for not only just hospitals and pharmacies, but for the entire healthcare ecosystem. And it's a very simple platform that we have, and it's a very simple process that we have. So I'm really proud of what we've built, please invest in technology. Please, government, please help us. Please, thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Vivian. Thank you for that really detailed explanation. And I think that we're all understanding where digital fits into the value chain. Christian Longdon?